In this series, I'm going to be adventuring around some of the lesser known backpacking spots in Australia and uncovering one of its best kept secrets. Then I'm going to be heading over to Southeast Asia to explore Myanmar, a country that has only really recently opened its borders to tourism. And as always, it's going to be real, it's going to be raw, so that it really shows you what it's like if you go backpacking. I bet you can't guess what we're doing today. So the plot thickens. Bagan is on lockdown. I have to conquer my fear. I have to get on the bike. We finally arrived in Inle Lake. Destination number 2. We have no idea where it is, but it's probably going to be awesome! Our journey had started almost 6 weeks ago, when I had decided that after 10 years of being a tour guide, it was time for Tom to see what it was like to be a backpacker himself. So we decided to start in Singapore and work our way up. We spent just over 2 weeks in Cambodia. We're about to land in Cambodia. And then travelled down the coast of Vietnam before flying over to Bangkok. We made it to Bangkok! We had just enough time to do a bit of sightseeing. This is chaotic! And off we go! Before celebrating New Year's Eve. Then we jumped on an overnight train to Chiang Mai, where we got to test out our cooking skills. My first dish, pad thai. Tom, what have you made?
I don't know what I'm doing.
And have a go at the famous Flight of the Gibbon. Then we flew from Chiang Mai to Mandalay to begin our 1-month adventure in Myanmar. After a brief stay in Mandalay, we jumped on the train to head out to the jungles in Seaport. I'm loving this train, it's amazing. It's our second day in Myanmar and I'm already loving it so much. That's what we're about to go over. Then we started our 3-day hike into the jungle, which, trust me, wasn't easy. We've been going uphill for like 2 hours. When you need a walking stick, it's a serious hike. We're going up that mountain there. But it was definitely worth it when we saw that we got to sleep in this, a 3-story tree house. This is amazing. I have never seen anything like this.
Welcome to the tree house.
Then after some well-earned relaxing tubing on the last day, we headed back to Mandalay, where we sat and watched the sunset behind the famous Ubane Bridge. The next day we left Mandalay and were on our way to Bagan.
Thank you. Jazuba.
Jazuba. Breakfast on a boat. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't going to do any filming today because I wanted to have a break because I know Bagan is going to be mental for filming. But I can't resist because we're on a boat. There's a small possibility that we are going into some sort of horror movie over here. It's really misty. I'll tell you what though, it's bloody freezing on this boat. Now you may be wondering how we ended up on a boat to do this leg of the journey, and the simple answer is I googled it and came across a blog by Getting Stamped who suggested taking a cruise. Now in my experience, most travel in Southeast Asia always takes longer than you expect and ends up taking most of the day anyway, so we decided since we had time we would take the scenic route. An added bonus to taking the cruise was not only did we get both breakfast and lunch included, but they also took us on a tour of a local village. And later, the crew gave us a demonstration on how to wear the traditional longi. And explained about thanaka, which is the yellowish paste made from ground bark that you see the locals wearing on their faces, which is not only cosmetic but is also used as sun protection. And if all that wasn't reason enough, there were power sockets so I could plug my laptop in and work. And then this happened. Now I have a pina colada. Although it is about 11 in the morning. What do you think, Tommy Roo?
It looks like you got a leaf on your face. Looks beautiful, Kelly. Get away from me.
This has honestly been the most chilled way of getting from A to B ever. Totally recommend it. Yes, it is a little bit more expensive, but I've got some work done. We had some yummy food. I've been having some pina coladas. I got my face painted. Cheers, Roo. After a few more hours on the boat, just as the sun was starting to go down, we made it to Bagan. We got a taxi to our hostel and had an early night, as the next day we had an extremely early start. In just a few weeks it was going to be Tom's 30th birthday, so I had booked something a bit special for the next morning. I bet you can't guess what we're doing today. That's a clue. Another clue is on the ground right here. And if you still haven't got it.
Morning once again. I'm Ed. I'm your pilot this morning.
Look at that. I mean, look at this thing. It's mental big.
Bye-bye.
We're off. Oh my god! I mean, as if we're just floating in a balloon. Oh, it's so peaceful. Until that happens. Sun is a-coming. Our pilot, Ed, apparently has a sweepstake to drop a glove in a swimming pool. Right down here. Oh, and the glove's gone. No! I swear he's going to land in the pool.
It looks like he's going to hit the building, right?
coming into land. It's pretty fast.
Just watch the ropes as they come down, they don't go around your neck.
That was chaotic. We're in.
And that's how we died on the balloon.
And that's how we died on the balloon.
Guys, now when you want to, you can now jump out.
What did you think of it, Tommy Ray?
It was awesome.
Good 30th birthday present, hey?
Yeah.
So cheers, guys. Soft landings.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Since we had got up at silly o'clock to do the balloon ride, the rest of the day was pretty chilled. Then that afternoon, we headed up to the famous Mount Popa, which looks like this. However, the reality of it involved a lot of monkeys and a lot of steps. To be precise, 777 steps apparently. Bring it on! I've got to go through the babies, help. That was terrifying. This one was doing a warning call.
Babies get away.
It's absolute carnage up here. They're just everywhere. But you know what? It's a good distraction from how many steps there are. The view so far. Oh good. More steps. There they go. Oh my god! Oh my god! Look up there, it's going crazy.
This little one going up.
What is that? That was brilliant! We just had feeding time for the monkeys. They go crazy! I'm honestly surprised I still have my camera. Good morning. Oh, read the table. Good morning. So today is our second day in Bagan, and today we're gonna tackle the bike scenario. We're gonna rent e-bikes. So I thought this is a good point to say I'm a little bit scared because we all know how good I am on a bike. Just in case you're new to my channel, this is me almost falling off my bike in Vietnam. This is me almost falling off my bike in China. And this is me almost falling off my bike in Vietnam again. Now you can understand why I was nervous to get an e-bike. So today is going to be pushing me very much out of my comfort zone. What we decided to do is we're going to get one bike between us. Tom and I are just going to share a bike and then see how it goes, and then maybe I'll have a go and see if I get on with it, but it's happening. We're getting a bike. Okay, I think it's time for me to have a go on the e-bike. I have to conquer my fear. I have to get on the bike. It's probably going to be super easy, and I'm going to be like, why was I panicking?
Adjusted the back brakes.
Okay, good to know. Tom's just fixing the brakes.
And for anyone out there, this makes you go. Right, this one here. Go.
Stop.
Stop. That one. Fly over the handlebars. Is this one. And that's pretty much it. Keep your feet down on the ground until you get a little bit of speed.
Okay, so
This is a really narrow,
this
like.
one goes far. Right, what do I do? Push this forward.
Pull it back.
Pull it back.
Slowly.
Oh my god, this is so difficult.
You're being very dramatic, Charlie.
Oh my god, there's no way I could do one of these. I'm so wobbly. Oh.
Okay, so verdict, Charlie.
Okay, I'm gonna get the grip. I'm gonna do this. Let's just get off this bit of track. Whoa.
Just go slow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, don't wrap it on so fast.
Do you wanna go in front of me?
Not really, I'm pretty scared I'm gonna get run over. Once you get a bit of momentum, the balance becomes like way more,
Yeah, I see what you mean, okay.
bit more intuitive.
Spiky bush. I think we can get the hang of this.
Yeah?
In the interest of saving time, we decided it was probably best for Tom to do the driving. We made it on the first attempt. We found a temple that we could get up and have a look at the view. We are currently here in January 2018, and we've been told that a lot of the temples are like either just shut off completely to anyone climbing up them, or they're being like renovated, and there was an earthquake a while ago, so a lot of them are quite damaged and they're being repaired. But then we just literally stumbled across this is the first one, and we could come up, yay! I mean, you're not actually climbing the temple because there's just stairs on the inside that you can come up. And this one was completely open, it wasn't blocked off. You can literally just walk all the way around the outside of this one, it's so cool. And there's nobody here. We're the only people. This place is really special. If you're coming to Southeast Asia, do not miss out on Myanmar, because it is something else, seriously. Tom's scaring the living daylights out of me. We're just trying to find out where the hell we are, what's going on. So we're trying to make our way through to like the pyramid temple. We're kind of off-pisting it a bit. We're in the bush, as you can see here. I love it, the bike goes so slow that I'm just gonna walk next to it.
I love you've given me the GoPro to hold on to while I
Try and steer.
try and maneuver that.
Sorry. Okay, we're officially lost. We're trying to find where we are on Google Maps. I think we're in someone's garden.
Yeah, no, we definitely are. We're in someone's farm. There it is, Charlie. That's the one over there, look.
That's where we're trying to
It's
get
not
to.
that far away,
Focus
it's a
on
lot
it.
closer than you think.
We're aiming for that one over there. For a field. We found it! We found the pyramid one! Ta-da! Yeah! Let's go get a closer look. This is what happens most of the time. They close up the doors. It's closed up on that side too. I don't know. Let's adventure this way, shall we? Oh, look at that. There's a pigeon. This is a serious temple. Although it's not quite Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat!
Angkor Wat.
We found another one that you can climb up. It's not closed. I've got no idea what any of these little temples are called, so when you come here, you just have to go adventuring for yourself. Especially as I've been told that they kind of sometimes alternate which ones are closed. I guess so that they don't get too popular, because like if everyone writes on like maps.me that this temple is the one to go for, this is why you have to come to this country really soon, because I really feel like it's just going to be on complete lockdown. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to do a sunrise to watch the balloons. Ooh, I've just seen a really cool like little view through here. Look at that. This is pretty little. Pretty little through here.
What time did you say the sunset was?
Oh, like 6 something.
6 something.
I don't think people are supposed to go up here. That obviously doesn't work. Because someone's just chiseled it out.
Cutting the tree off.
We were hoping to go back to our special one for sunset, except we've been stopped because they were cutting a branch down, which just crashed. Totally missed it coming down, but look at this. He just cut it down from up there. They're like sawing the thing. We made it back to our one for sunset, except it's not going to be a spectacular sunset. The sun is basically just gonna fade away behind the clouds. So I'm not really gonna get that spectacular kind of time lapse that I wanted to get. But we're gonna come back in the morning and hopefully we might get some cool footage of the balloons going up. I can't get in any closer, but there's a lot of people on that one over there. And we have this one to ourselves. Yay. So we're just sitting, watching the sunset. Goldie's over there. There she is. You'll know what I mean if you've watched the Budgeteers and Steve Yalo's Welcome to Myanmar series. Link in the description below. It's magic hour. Look how pretty it looks. Going up, we're going up. These staircases are pretty little. Oh my god, wow. Look at that! Amazing! Look at how cool this is. Go. If you ever come to Bagan, get up for the sunrise to watch the balloons. It's awesome. Pretty spectacular. They're almost down. Now starts the landing process. Oh, it's nice and warm over this side with the sun. I apologise for the way I look. I just literally rolled out of bed and was like, get on a bike, let's get to the sunrise. And then looked at my face. Oops. So the plot thickens. Do you see this wooden frame that has arrived in this doorway behind me? That wasn't there this morning. They're about to put a gate in to lock it down. I'm guessing that in about, I don't even know what the time frame will be, but pretty soon you're not going to be able to get up any of these temples. Bagan is on lockdown. We actually stayed in Bagan a few more days than we'd intended, mainly because it was just so peaceful and there was something so special about the lack of tourists. Especially coming from places we had been earlier on our trip, like Angkor Wat and the Grand Palace in Thailand. Bagan had a sense of freedom and space to think that was so unique that I was genuinely sad to leave. As I said before, this was back in January 2018, so I don't know if you can even go up the temples today, but if you can, just be careful of that privilege, as we saw evidence that people were not respecting them, which is another reason why they were getting closed down.
It's broken. Someone broke it putting that camera up.
The fact that they have to put a sign up like this just sums it up about why all the temples are getting closed down. Why no one's going to be able to watch sunrise or sunset from on top of a temple anymore. Because people go up there and smoke and have beers and you're not allowed to. It's not rocket science.
They're not people. No better.
Something I had not mentioned up to this point was that we had met a lovely group of backpackers on that first night up at Mount Popa. We had been hanging out with them most nights in Bagan and were going to be meeting up in our next destination. So this is Matt, who after watching series 1 was attempting to recreate my resting panic face. Then meet Jack, Alex and Jack, who you'll be seeing a lot of for the rest of this episode. Also, this was our last night in Bagan altogether, so things might have got a little bit messy.
Who ordered?
What is it?
We're not even in focus. Come on, camera. Come on, focus.
It's too early for the camera.
It is too early for the camera. It's just being...
It's the travel day today.
Eating some breakfast. I'm having some rice. Tom is having scrambled egg on toast.
For the next part of our journey, we decided to use a bus company called JJ Express, which we'd booked online. And even though we were excited about our next destination, as we watched the balloons in the sunrise for one last time, we couldn't help but feel sad that we were leaving this magical place. After 8 hours of fairly windy roads through the mountains, we finally made it to Inle Lake that evening. And we didn't waste any time on getting ourselves booked on a full-day ultimate boat tour for the next day.
We finally arrived in Inle Lake and here we go!
We booked the tour through our hostel and knew that the rough plan was to take us to a local market, show us around some various trades around the lake and have lunch with some locals. But that was as far as we knew. So like with most trips in Southeast Asia, we just seemed to be winging it.
We have no idea where we're going. But this is amazing! This is so unique, it's crazy. First stop, local market. Oh, and Tom found swords, obviously. Let's go adventuring. What have you found? Pipes?
I found a nice crown made out of teeth.
Oh, a nice crown made out of teeth because everyone needs this in their life.
Yes.
That's essential.
Look at the size of that coconut, Charlie. Seriously.
If there's coconut. That's massive.
It's a shenstone.
A shenstone?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. And we're off to destination number 2. We have no idea where it is, but it's probably going to be awesome! I am loving Inle Lake. So right behind me there, this is a floating garden. The poles are holding it in place. How cool is that? Floating garden!
There's gonna be a bright time for you. A bright time for you. Just let it come to you. Just let it come to you. There's gonna be a bright time for you. A bright time for you. Just let it come to you. Just let it come to you.
So we can't quite believe that there's like power lines. Power lines and water. Welcome to Southeast Asia. Ooh, bit chilly at the front here. So in true Southeast Asia tour fashion, we have no idea what's going on. We don't really know where we are. We don't know what's happening. I think we're being taken to a cat house, which is obviously Tom's favourite. Oh my goodness me. Burmese cats. Oh, they're so beautiful. Look at this. Hey, do you think they can swim, Tom? No. Oh, so warm. Oh,
You cat fix, Charlie. You cat fix.
the cats have their own little houses on stilts, just like the humans. Look at this place. Lots of little houses. Such a cat life. That was definitely one of the most random things we've done in Southeast Asia. Cigar making.
Doesn't smell much at all. It smells like, it looks like wood chips. Ooh, aniseed and
Aniseed.
Surinese. Mint.
God, it smells like chocolate. This one is, that's banana. Oh, that smells really good. This one's good, the banana one. Don't smoke it.
After having a go at rolling the cigars ourselves and pretty much failing miserably, we were off to our next stop, lunch. After lunch, we got to go out and do some exploring for ourselves, which came as a peaceful break because, as you probably already realised, the engines on the boats are pretty noisy.
Sorry, it's really noisy in here, but Mum, you're gonna love this. They are weaving lotus flower. It's insane. I think it's like 10 times more expensive than silk, they said. Look at these machines. So they weave the longi, which is the kind of traditional skirts that both the men and women wear. So these are lotus. Obviously our tour finishes in the gift shop. Every time. No.
Always wanted to wear the scarf. So,
I know.
One thing that's been missing in my life.
We just got to see the famous fishing! So after having a super lazy day yesterday, today we've got bikes and we're gonna go exploring. We have no idea if these bikes are actually going to work. None of the brakes seem to work. They're just pumping the tyres up at the moment. Everyone went out and got drunk last night, so Matt's feeling a little bit rough. You're feeling better now?
You're only young, you can say that.
Yeah, that is true. How old are you? You're like, what, 24? Yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. Easy, easy. We were supposed to leave at 8, but it's now like 10:30. So here we go. Switch to GoPro.
Just to explain, we weren't on an official tour, we were just following a route that we'd seen on a map in the hostel that involved a lovely bike ride through the countryside, crossing over the lake and ended up at a winery for some wine and cheese.
We've had to stop because there's a herd of cows going down the street. Welcome to cycling in Southeast Asia. How's everybody feeling? Where's the cheese? I want the cheese board.
On the outside.
Oh man, the other side of the lake. High five! Yay! Oh, that's so cute! You can see. Hey! How cute were those kids?
Yeah.
So adorable.
Chickens!
Chickens! Oh look, they've got their own little island!
and look, here's laundry. I love the combination of power lines and water. Everyone loves a bit of electricity and water. Suspect power lines.
Just a bit. Look at them.
I know.
Oh my god.
So we're at the winery. It's time for wine tasting. Is it in order of the piece of paper, I'm presuming, yeah?
Thank you. This one is Sauvignon Blanc.
Perfect. Thank you. Cheers, YouTube. That's not bad. It's not got that horrible aftertaste, which normally I get from a Sauvignon Blanc. So the Sauvignon Blanc is palatable.
Drink responsibly.
Yeah, exactly. Drink responsibly, kids. Just this little amount here. Cheers. She's just necking the peanuts though. Look how many peanuts you've eaten.
They're good peanuts.
What does Jack think? So phase 2 of the wine tasting. Cheese! Tom doesn't like the blue cheese.
Creamy. Well,
Feet, stinky feet. Wine tasting over. Time to cycle back to the hostel. This should be interesting. By this point, I was starting to feel a little sad, as our time with the others was coming to an end. We had been travelling with them for almost 2 weeks now, and I knew that we only had 1 day left. So after our bike adventure, we all decided to go on a sunset tour out onto the lake to take some last photos of the fishermen. Sunset tour, here we go! We're going to wait for the sunset. We're attached to a pole in the middle of the pond.
actually, we're attached to a boat attached to a pole.
We're attached to a boat attached to a pole in the middle of the pond. It's very sunny, as you can see. Everyone behind me is like, ah! Because the sun's so low.
There he is, looking at that man.
And we're waiting for some fishermen with their little cool triangular nets to come and zoom over here so we can get some good sunset shots with them. And they're onto it, obviously. Oh, the balance skills, seriously. He's even got a fish. Then the next day we had organised something a little different. As some of you may know, Tom is a massive fan of fishing, so we'd asked the hostel if there was any chance that we could have a go. So the staff had put together an experimental fishing trip for us to go out with some locals, and we were basically the guinea pigs to see if it might be something that they could offer for future guests. Here come our fishing rods. Bamboo is life. So, we're doing a pioneering trip today for the Estelo Bello. We decided we wanted to go fishing, so we kind of designed our own fishing tour. If this takes off, we were the first ones. I love this. Alex is like already set up a sunbathing spot at the back. Boom, off we go. What? And we can fish off here?
Yeah.
Oh my god! We've landed on a little bit of paradise. Alex has set herself up in the sun down here. They want the popcorn, don't they? This one I've named Lightning because it looks like it's been hit by a lightning bolt. And then to the serious stuff, we've got some fishing lines being set up here. Tom bought a fishing rod.
Oh.
Bought himself a fishing rod at the shop. Off he goes. Hey, what time is it, by the way?
Not important.
No, I know.
That's 1,000 a bottle. 1,000 a bottle.
What? What is it called?
Cognac.
Lemonade.
That is dangerous. Yeah, that is really dangerous. As you can imagine, we spent the day fishing, enjoying the sun, and drinking, well, I'm still not quite sure what it was, but it was definitely delicious. Overall, we voted the pioneering fishing trip a success. Not that we actually caught much apart from a couple of these little fish, but at least Lightning got a meal. At the end of the day, we jumped in a boat with some of the locals we'd been fishing with on the pier to take us back to town. However, since the wind had picked up, we ended up getting pretty soggy, which both the locals and Tom found hilarious.
He's just chucking water!
Sadly, not only had our time in Inle Lake come to an end, but so had our adventures with the others. We had been travelling with them for over 2 weeks now, so as you can imagine, I was feeling pretty sad to leave them. So we had one last party together in the hostel, as the next day they were leaving.
That's one of the things about travelling. It's always about the people, and they have been part of our Myanmar experience. Anyway, we're getting on a night bus. We all know how I feel about night buses.
Ready, Dad?
Let the night bus commence. You see, about here, where we just got on the bus, we were super happy at how luxurious it was because we were on the VIP bus that had really nice seats, like reclining, and it had screens. Now I'd say about an hour and a half, 2 hours into the journey, I started feeling what I thought was really travel sick because we were like winding up this road. Didn't film any of it because obviously I was feeling sick. Anyway, that progressively got worse to the point where I actually started throwing up. That's not what you want on a 10-hour overnight bus journey, trust me. So it got pretty bad. I was basically throwing up for 10 hours. And then when we got to the hostel in Yangon, I basically slept for the whole of the next day because I had absolutely zero energy. It completely wiped me out. The same as it did when Tom was really ill in the islands. How did you feel after the islands, Tom?
Like I've been sat on by an elephant.
That's pretty much what I felt like. It's now like 36 hours since that episode, and I'm still got a bit of a lack of energy, as you can probably tell in my face. I still look a bit washed out. I was really annoyed because I had escaped getting food poisoning for the whole 2 months, and then like at the last hurdle, crashed and burned, and it just happened to be on a night bus as well. I mean, seriously, worst timing ever. But anyway, we've only got 1 day left in Yangon, so we had to just suck it up and get out there. We're at the giant reclining Buddha, and it's pretty awesome, although you can't really get the concept of how big it is on camera. I totally just realised this is actually my first reclining Buddha. In all the time I've been to Asia, I've never made it to a... What? Second. Did we see a reclining Buddha?
Not that big.
Okay.
It was outside in the sun, really bright sun.
I don't remember that. I'll have to look back at my footage because I don't remember seeing that. But this is my first giant reclining Buddha. Tom thinks otherwise.
I don't remember most things, Charlie, but I remember the first one.
It's a pretty big Buddha. Pagoda number 2. And then this pagoda is way bigger than I thought. It's kind of like the Grand Palace in Thailand. Because it also comes with lots of really annoying tourist scams too. The second we jumped out the taxi, woman was trying to hand me flowers and she's like, "You lucky lady, you lucky lady." And I was like, "No, I'm really not, thanks. I do not need those." And then, you know, they handed us like bags to put our shoes in and we're like, "Oh, thank you." And they're like, "Now you pay." And we're like, "Really? Have your bag back."
I think being ill had got to me because even though I seem angry, this was actually the only place in the whole country that we'd experienced this, which honestly was a refreshing change from other countries in Southeast Asia.
Okay, it's just too bright. It's too bright and too sunny up here.
Carved an elephant out of marble, and then they painted it. What they...
Yeah.
We spent the rest of the day wandering around the city and found some gardens to relax in the shade. And then decided to head up to a rooftop bar to get one last view of Yangon and watch the sunset before we were going to be leaving the next day.
So that's our last night in Yangon. Cheers! I'm cheersing with water. Damn food poisoning! At least Tom's having a beer. So we've come to the Great Garden Rooftop Bar. It's a pretty awesome view. Let me show you around.
The next day we left Myanmar as we had one last week of our travels which we were going to be spending in Singapore. We had been travelling for over 9 weeks, so as you can imagine we were pretty tired, especially as this had been Tom's first ever backpacking trip. So we basically treated Singapore as a bit of a holiday at the end of our trip. I had also organised one last surprise for Tom's 30th birthday. A 2-night stay at the famous Marina Bay Sands hotel. But that's a story for another time.
Cheers.
Even though the last few days hadn't been the best, Myanmar had totally blown me away. There was a quality to it that I hadn't felt in Asia since I'd been in Thailand 10 years ago. Not only were the people so friendly, but they were genuinely interested to hear your story and not just trying to sell you something. Country had definitely left its mark on me, and even with the recent food poisoning, I was sad to be leaving. I know that the phrase push yourself out of your comfort zone is totally overused, but there's a good reason for that, and it's because it's true. If you don't push yourself and you stay comfortable, then you don't grow, and Myanmar had definitely done its fair share of pushing me out of my comfort zone. If you only take one thing from this series, it's to really push yourself in whatever you're doing, as you never know where it might take you.
This is amazing. I have never seen anything like this.
Thanks for watching, guys, and remember that if you would like to explore some of these places and think you might like to go on a tour around Southeast Asia, then I really recommend the Dragon Trip, who are the company that I travelled China with in Series 1. Plus, you can get a discount if you use my code in the description box below. And as always, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. Just drop me a message.